Hi, welcome back to Lori's Sketchbook. I'm glad you came. I've been doing a series about watercolor drama for sketchers, and by that I mean how to use the watercolor to make your sketch more interesting, more alive, more dramatic, with more movement, instead of thinking of it as an afterthought after we've completed our line work. There, I will put a link down below for that series and hope you check it out. This series, each one is just focusing on one tip or one aspect of that process. Today's topic will be expressive brush strokes. So as sketchers, we usually draw the sketch first, and then we have all of that line work, which we're happy with, and then we say, I need to color it in. And that makes oftentimes the way we approach watercolor as a secondary or less important part of the process. I would suggest that it's certainly an equally important part of the process, if not even more important, but considering the watercolor from the beginning as important as the line work, I think helps bring drama to your sketches. So for today, talking about expressive brushstrokes, we're not going to do any line work at all. And part of that is so that the brushwork itself can be the line work and bring the expression and the movement based on how we use the brush. And there are various ways to do that. We will look at a few different brushes, some different ways of loading those brushes, and then I'll do some demos of the kind of brush strokes that each one can make and why those are so alive and such wonderful ways to bring energy to your sketch. So let's get going. Okay. In order for a brushstroke to be expressive of what it is that it is representing, we need to be thoughtful about the essence of what it is that's in front of us that we're trying to sketch. So let me share my screen here a minute and show you what I mean. Okay, so this is a saguaro cactus. If we were sketching these cactus, to me, the essence is long. It's just long. It's long and it's straight. And then, of course, you have these arms. It's long and it has parallel strokes to it. So in order to capture the essence of a saguaro cactus, I would want to do long, expressive brush strokes and parallel to each other. And I think quite quickly, then we would see a saguaro cactus with no line work or anything other than the brushwork. And here the ground in deserts and other places where you find saguaro cactus is often very sort of rolly, browny, and like this, sort of neutral colors. So let's think of that as kind of a rolling, neutral, wavy ground. And that's the essence of that. So let's give that a try. Okay, so for the saguaro cactus, I'm going to use a round for the long strokes, making the cactus itself, and then I'm going to use a flat for the ground. And we'll show some of the strokes that can be used. Okay, starting with the cactus itself. Since I said the essence of the saguaro cactus is long strokes, I'm going to make sure I fully load my brush so that I have lots of paint in it. I don't want to run out. So here goes the way I would do it. And as you notice, I am going to go this direction with the, oops, I have got something on my hand. This direction with the end of the brush pointing in the direction that I am sketching. So here we go. Here's the, and then I get another brush stroke and the parallel one. And I get another brush stroke. So this should say practically right away, that's a saguaro cactus. This middle one didn't have much And if I want then to do the side brushes, make sure I have plenty. I'm going to go like this. And another one. Okay, clearly this is a saguaro cactus. There's no doubt, I don't think, in our mind. And these are all just single brush strokes. If you want to add some additional color, you can drop in some other colors once you get your first brush strokes done. That helps give a little interest. But basically, you've got the gist of it with these strokes. And the fewer strokes, the better. When you're doing expressive brush strokes, it's very important to try not to overdo it. Don't try to be too clever and do too many. Just do a few. As these cacti go back in distance, they're going to start up higher in the foreground, and there we go. And they're going to be lower in the background. So to me, this says those are saguaro cactus with no question. Now, in terms of the land, I'm going to take this flat brush and I'm going to load it with a couple of different. So one corner I've put that, and the other corner I've put that. And then I can do some really fun things. There, look at that beautiful. And we can simply do stuff like this. We said it was kind of a rolling environment. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm just trying to make, by turning the brush, I go here and then I turn, there I turn. And that's, you know, all you would need to indicate here is a desert scene with saguaro cactus. So you can see how there's no drawing, but the essence of what we're looking at is beautifully done. And with the double loading of the flat brush, you get these beautiful multicolor mini washes. Okay. Okay, let's try another. We'll use another organic feature, which are great subjects for expressive brush strokes. People are the other wonderful subject for this. Let's do a delphinium. Let's take a look here at a delphinium. Okay, so what is the essence of this flower? To me, the essence is that it has a cluster of little flowers that are darker in the center and then lighter on the outside. I'm talking about the petals of these little flowers. We're going to simplify it, but basically the principle is going to be dark in the center and then light on the outside. It's obviously straight also, so they're in these kind of triangular clusters on a very straight stem. So there's a long stroke. And then the leaves are these jagged things. So this is a different kind of stroke that we'll practice and demo, okay? Let's do a delphinium. Let's get over to my other thing here. Okay. So again, I'm going to use my round brush for all of this, actually. So we're going to start with loading basically just the tip of the round brush. I don't know if you can see that. So that the paint is concentrated on the tip. And then we're going to put the tip down and then squash the body. See that? Tip down, squash, tip down, squash. Tip down, squash, little ones, tip down, squash, tip down, squash. Let's get some more. Just load the tip, tip down squash. When you paint, in general, the most paint is concentrated at the tip, because invariably when you load the brush, that seems to be how it works. We want it sort of irregular here. We want to make sure we get the sense of a vertical cluster. Okay, maybe I'll do just one more, a little bit right there. There. Okay. Then we said that the stem was straight. So here we go. We can either go down like this with the brush pointing in the direction, or up like this. I think I'll go up. Here comes, oh, I need more paint. Okay, here we come. Up. And I may do just a couple, something like that. That may have been a little too much. It doesn't matter. So there is your, now in terms of the leaves, since they're jagged, I would just do like this, sort of a jagged back and forth. And you'll get a very convincing leaf. All of that was one stroke. Let's do another one. Sort of a jagged here and there stroke. You don't want to be too fussy. I think it has some little things up there that might be nice. There. And that says, to me at least, Delphinium, with only 1, 2, 3 different kinds of strokes and no line work. Okay, so let's do one more flower for a different kind of brush stroke. I'm going to share my screen here so you can see it. Okay, this time we're going to do a poppy. So what's the essence of a poppy? To me, the essence is that it has large petals, 3 or 4 large petals. They're dark at the bottom, dark inside, and then they get lighter. They're wavy petals. See this waviness, and they kind of flop around. Some of them are different shape. So we're going to think of a brush stroke that will work for that. Also, what about the stems? Well, the stems are very thin and they kind of wiggle around. They're not rigid. They feel like they have a heavy flower at the end of a weak stem. So we'll think about that. And then what about the leaf? It's a little bit like the leaf for the Delphinium, but narrower. So it's a jagged brush stroke. And then of course you've got the pods here. So let's take a look at that. Let's see how we would do that. Okay, I'm going to again take my round brush with a good point. It's very important. It's probably the most useful brush in all of sketchendom is to have a good, large round with a good, sharp point, and one that holds a lot of water. This happens to be both a mix of synthetic and squirrel. I'm not going to get into brushes today, but it'll make a big difference if you have a large enough brush and one that holds a lot of water and paint to do these techniques. Okay. So how do we do this? First of all, we're going to load the whole brush with a lighter color. So there's your pink. And then we're going to just dab into a darker color on the tip, just on the tip. Okay, we're going to lay the tip down as we did before, lay the whole brush, keep it down, and just sort of pivot like this as I press and then unpress. So there we get one petal. Let's do it again. Load it with the pink, a little bit on there, and this time we'll bring another petal around, just with the tip and down. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? I'm cleaning my brush between each one because I don't want the dark purple to take over, which it does if you don't get rid of it each time. Okay, and here's the dark. Lay the brush down. There. Okay, so there's a poppy with the dark and the dark, because the tip had the dark paint and the rest of the color was there. Let's just do a couple more real quickly. Load the tip. So you could also do one that is more open. Same idea. See? And maybe one more. They're so fun to do. I'm going to do this one here. There. And then and you see that I'm varying the pressure to make those wiggles. It's very important that you vary the pressure. Let's do it like this. There. Okay. That's the flower. Now, how about the stem? Since I have a sharp point, I can use the same one, but it may be that you would want to use a rigger. We will get to that later. Okay, so this one's going to kind of go up and down. Isn't that beautiful? It's a very light touch. Long, again, another long. And it's a little press and lift to get the kind of different widths there. And then let's just do our jagged but long leaf. Other one. There, we got it. And oh, I didn't do a, I didn't do a, what's it called? A bud, did I? There. I think I'll add just a little of the red in the middle of this bud. There we go. And then I need to get that bud up, down. There we go. And then maybe last thing, just a few tiny little whispers of jagged leaves, if you noticed on the painting. And also, many poppies have hairy, we didn't talk about this, they kind of have hairy stems. So you can even do a little hair on it if you want. Anyway, there we go. So that's all with the round brush, loading the whole thing with the lighter color and the tip with the darker, and then putting the tip down and rotating like this. Press, lighten, press, lighten, press, lighten to get that sort of curviness. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. There are more brushes, more brush strokes, and I think I'll do that in a part 2, partly because my electricity has gone off twice during this. There's a storm outside. So I think maybe I'll just divide it into a second video, which I'll do in a little while. Okay, I hope you enjoy this. Please do experiment with your brushes. In this case, we only used 2 brushes for all of those strokes. And in fact, we could have done everything just with the round. So if you find you don't have the brush you need, invest in a good synthetic, a good natural hair or synthetic and natural mix of a large round with a good point. And that should be sufficient for most everything you want to do. Okay, enjoy it. Think of the essence of things. Have fun playing. Put away your pencil and pen and just enjoy. Thank you for visiting. See you later.